Well, now let us start with another topic according to your syllabus. What is the next topic? Input credit mechanism. What is the mechanism of input credit? Okay, here different topics are mentioned, different topics are there. So we have to first of all discuss about what is input tax. Okay, let us see what are the mechanism input tax. GST return, we have to discuss the GST return. Then payment of tax, what are the procedure of payment of tax. So different effect, different electronic media to record the tax. So one by one let us discuss about all this input credit mechanism. Okay, so here see input tax. What is input tax? Till now we got the concept of GST, goods and service tax, one tax. Now what is input tax? In case of input tax, it is mentioned in the section 2 of subsection 62 of the Central Goods and Service Tax Act. This is the act which has been introduced in the year 2017. Just I told you in the before topic, what I told that GST has been introduced in the year 2017. So it has been implemented in 2017. The same thing we have to discuss over here also. So according to that, what happened in section 2, subsection 62 of the Central Goods and Service Tax Act 2017, this input credit mechanism is described. What is input tax? It is there in this clause. This is nothing but a state tax or integrated tax. It means central tax, state tax, and integrated tax. So this input tax is nothing but central tax, state tax, as well as integrated tax, that is both the tax together, central and state. So one tax is there which is known as CGST, Central Goods and Service Tax. Another is there SGST, State Goods and Service Tax. Both these together taxes, if we say together both the taxes is known as integrated tax. So what is tax input? Input tax? Input tax is nothing but it is the central tax, central GST, state GST, as well as integrated tax. Together, all these taxes, the formation of taxes is known as what? Input tax. So how to input the tax? This mechanism of input credit mechanism is nothing. It is just the implementation of the tax according to their according to the state, according to the central, according to state and central both requirements, according to the requirements of the goods and services. This is all about the mechanism. What is the mechanism? How it is used? Where it is used? How long it takes? How it is calculated? This everything will be discussed in the input tax mechanism. Then the procedure of implementation of the tax has been discussed under the input tax mechanism. Fine. Now, it is charged on any supply of goods or services or both. So this is input tax is implemented. It has been calculated when any goods and services you have transported, you have traded. Here the goods and service tax has to be calculated. It is charged on import of goods. Second point. Third point, the taxes payable on reverse charge basis. Okay, it is not only paid directly, it is in reverse charge also. This tax is implemented. Fine. So that means what we come to know from the points here it is given that this tax procedure, the mechanism, the entire procedure of charging the tax on the state as well as for the central is the mechanism of the tax. This is known as input tax, how to implement the tax. Fine. So there are different calculations. Practically, we have to do few calculations. Few formulas are also there. Few slots are there for the different GSTs. Okay. So CGST how much, SGST how much, the total, the both if it is implemented, CGST, SGST, what will be the total taxes. So there are different type of calculations. Practically, we have to uh, calculate all those things by considering all those whatever the percentage is given according to the GST Act. By implementing all those percentages, we have to find out the total tax, whatever is required. So this entire procedure of calculating, and not only the procedure of calculation, but also the rules and regulation which has been implemented at the time of charging the GST has to be considered at the time of uh, charging the tax. Fine. So this is all about the mechanism of the tax, input tax, where to charge, when to charge, on what basis to charge. So this is the mechanism of taxation. Fine. Now, we have charged the tax, which is known as not only charging, this is known as what? GST return. How to filling the file. See, DST has been charged by the state, GST has been charged by the central government. Everything is fine, the calculation is there. We are bound to give. The traders, they are bound to give the tax. But return filing means the entire calculation procedure at the end of the year. They have to show their entire calculations to pay the tax to the government. This entire procedure is mostly done by the Chartered Accountant of India. Fine. This Chartered Accountant, they want all the document required to filing the return. Filing the return means calculating the total amount of tax on the basis of buying and selling of the trader. It is totally based on the buying and selling of product. How much a trader is buying from outside, how much he is selling to the customer. So entire this return procedure depends on buying and selling of a trader or businessman. Now, GST return. GST Council and the Ministry of Finance come up with a great solution to record all invoices in one place, one tax. So this GST return, we have already discussed regarding all these things. Now what happened? They have formulated one procedure. One procedure they have formulated, GST Council and the Ministry of Finance together. One is GST Council is another like unit, as well as Ministry of Finance is another unit. Both together, what they come up with a great solution. That solution is nothing but to record all the invoice in one platform, which will be easy, very simple to calculate the GST. Once everything is under the one platform, it is very easy for the calculations, for the taxpayers, even for those who are there involved in the procedure of filing return. So they also feel it comfortable and it is easy for each and everybody when it is in the same place. So what they did, the GST, the council, the GST council, as well as the Ministry of Finance, they found out a good solution with one tax, one person, one tax. And with that procedure, it is very easy to filing the return. One tax. The motto is what? One place, one tax. Remember that one only. One place, one tax. India, one place, one tax. But if you are willing to send your goods from India to somewhere else, definitely your tax burden will be a little bit more, because you have to follow the procedure of the country where you are sending the goods. You are liable to pay to those countries also. In that case, definitely, this return procedure will not be implemented. When you are there in India, you have to implement whatever our government has declared, our government has given the procedure, one tax, one place. But in case of export business and all, definitely the procedure is little bit changed. Still the burden is less. Fine. Next, 28 GST Council met on 2018. 17 GST is implemented, and this meet, 28 GST Council meet, when it took place on 21 of July, 21st July, that means 21st July 2018, there was a meet of GST. Okay, this meet was 28 GST Council meet. It is considered as, there what happened has they have introduced a simple GST return filing system for the taxpayer. That means this entire simple procedure has been introduced when? Not in 17. 17 the GST has been introduced, implemented in everywhere. But this procedure of calculation has been introduced in the year 2018. This is on 28 GST Council, and 21st of July 2018 it has been formulated with an expert team in the finance department as well as GST Council. Almost all are chartered accountant and senior accountant. They have implemented a new procedure for filing out the GST return, which has been accepted by all over India as one place, one tax. So it is formulated in 2018. Fine. So government has introduced Sahas and Sugam forms for filling GST return. So what is this Sahas and Sugam? These two terms are very much traditional term. Sahas, that's a Hindi term. Sugam. Sugam is simple. Sahas is also simple. So these are just the same meaning, the two terms they are using, Sahas and Sugam. Sahas is very simple, easy. Sahas is easy. Sugam is simple. Easy and simple procedure of filing up the return, so that each and every person will become an entrepreneur. They will understand each and everything. So they are motivating the entrepreneur. They're motivating all the people to do the business, so that the economic condition will be developed, more and more improved. To do a business, definitely the person should be convenient. The person should know what he is doing, what is his further step. If he do not understand, very critical procedure is there, of course he is not able to do any business. Because whatever he is doing, it should be in pen and paper. If he wants to earn more and more, definitely it should be in pen and paper. So if it is in pen and paper, he should understand each and everything. Now, if I implement a very complicated procedure, the normal public, the general public, they won't be able to know. So they will not come up with their new ideas. Lot of ideas are there in India. Not in India, in everywhere, definitely. I'm just taking an example of India. So there are a lot of entrepreneurs. Every houses you may get 1 to 2 entrepreneurs. But they are not able to do the business. Why? Is because of this complicated procedure. But what happened now from 2018, when this has been formulated by the government of India as well as Finance, Ministry of Finance, this Sahas and Saral procedure, easy and simple procedure of filling up the return, make it possible for each and every person to do the business. It motivates the person to do the business because they come to know how much they are paying, where they are paying, how to do the calculations. Whatever done by the expertise or the CS, they are able to see, they are able to calculate. Those procedure earlier, what happened in case of the GST return and all, they have to prepare a balance sheet, whether debit is there, credit is there. Now the question comes, what is debit, what is credit? A person who is not from that field, the commerce field, they're unable to understand. But it's not like that each and every person of a business, each and every one who is doing the business, they must be from the commerce background. They must know what is debit, what is credit. See, without a financial statement, without filling up the financial statement, without producing the financial statement, the filing of return is not possible. Again, financial statement they have to know. Once the financial statement, the word comes, again very tough, the entire procedure comes, assets comes, liabilities comes. What is assets? What is liability? How it is calculated? Why it is calculated? What are the contents are there in the assets and liabilities? Okay, so different things comes. This concept is not very easy. It was not easy, but it is easy nowadays. Why it is? As because of this simple and easy procedure for calculating the GST, which has been formulated in the year 2018. Fine, after implementing the GST Act. So that is why it is known as Sahas and Sugam form. That form itself is very simple and very easy. Remember these two terms. One is Sahas, very easy. Sugam, very simple. Understood? Sahas and Sugam. This is mentioned there in the form. This is introduced by the Ministry of Finance in the year 2018. But this is all about the GST return. And later on, the calculations, portions and all, it is always everything done by all expertise. But we, the general public, you, the general public, you are able to know, you are able to understand what it is exactly. You come to know what is my income, what is my expenditures, how much I am paying as a tax to the government. That entire thing very clearly in very simple steps will be produced in front of you so that you can understand, okay, I'm earning this much of amount, I'm spending this much of amount, I'm paying the GST to the government this much. You are also happy and you are also motivated to do the business, to expand your business. So that is the ultimate motive of a government, to make it sahas and saral, sahas and sugam, so that every person is now motivated to do the business, come up with their new ideas, new product, and ultimately, once every person come up with new ideas, new product, and they are selling, they are coming to the business, then economy will develop. It will increase our economy, monetary, our conditions, monetary conditions, right? Economic growth. Now, let us see payment of tax. That was how to fill up the form, filling up the GST form. Now, what is the payment of tax? What is the payment of tax? Every registered taxpayer should pay their tax by 20th of every month. So, what is the procedure of paying the tax? Till now, we came to know that there is a very easy procedure of calculating the tax. Now we have to know what are the steps for paying the tax. The first step, what we know, every registered taxpayer whose name is registered under the GST Act, they are liable to pay the tax. But when there is a date, mandatory date, which is mentioned there, the date is 20th of every month. Nowadays, it is mandatory to fill up the form. You cannot pay the tax at the end of the year. The trader has to pay nowadays the tax every month, 28, within 28. So that is mandatory. It is always paid on the supply of goods and services at a specific rate. Even though you are not selling any goods, you have GST registration. It is mandatory nowadays to filling up the form with zero return. Suppose you are not paying not even a single penny. You are not paying GST. You are not paying the amount of money, but return, that means the calculations, whether you are earning or not. But that filing should be there. Your name should go to the filing procedure. That portal is there in online. Under that portal, your name should come every month that you are filing the return. If it is zero return, if it is nil return, whatever it is, that should be filed under there. So that is mandatory. The first, second, thirdly, the common portal prepared by the government, whatever the portal software prepared by the government to compute the tax liability which has to be paid by the taxpayer. So it should be mentioned. It should be mentioned in the common portal. That is, one common software has been prepared by the Finance Ministry, the Government of India, where we have to pay the tax. We have to file the return even if tax is not there. So in case of the payment of tax, 3 points we got at present, which is mandatory for each and every registered person. GST registered trader. Whoever registered under the GST, first of all, every month before 28, they have to file the return. Second point, any supply of goods and services, they have to pay the return a specific rate, whichever is given by the government. And thirdly, this has to be uploaded in the government portal. You need not have to go physically. Just one software is there, one portal is there, where you have to fill up whatever the mandatory columns are there. It is quite easy. It is quite saral. You can do of your own. Once you learn the procedure, you can do it by sitting at your home, by taking your laptop, desktop, whatever it is. Fine. So this is the procedure, these 3 steps we have to follow for payment of tax, that is payment of GST.